Well, today is World Toilet Day, an official United Nations International Observance Day on 19th November to inspire action to tackle the global sanitation crisis. Now, worldwide, 4.2 billion people live without safely managed sanitation, and around 673 million people practice open defecation. Now, before we go into discussions and take a look at perspectives, revolving around the World Toilet Day, let's take a look at this report packaged by one of our reporters.
Environmental protection. In Nigeria, open defecation is a common practice that has become a menace in the society. As part of efforts to curb this, some public toilets have been established by private individuals.
The public toilet here wasn't established specifically for business or monetary gains, but for the purpose of helping the masses, keeping the environment clean and protecting the overall health of the people. If one wants to use the toilet or take a bath, we usually charge 50 naira for these services. Sometimes, you walk past the road and you see people urinating or defecating by the side of the road in broad daylight. And it is an unpleasant sight, offensive to the nose and unfair to other passers. Whatever the person passes out is considered waste product and can be harmful to the health of others. So, this is why we built this public toilet, to reduce such menace, in order to protect the health of the people. I frequent this public toilet a lot. It is clean, it is easily accessible, and there is availability of both hot and cold water. You can take your bath or use the toilet for a service fee of 15 naira.
Good. Meanwhile, some Nigerians implore the government to provide mobile toilets in strategic places for easy access.
What I feel talk about this public toilet of 18 is that, like, I'm a victim even as I speak now. Just about 2 minutes before I reach this place, I won't urinate. So a particular security say man no urinate. Even as I dey here, people still they worry me where we're here. So, but I know how to help myself. But when they beg government make them do for us, we say for Lagos, I dey see most mobile toilets. If they fit do them for us for inside town here, we be Abuja here. Do them at least junction by junction. It go dey easy for we. At least we will be the masses. We no get offices or inside town here. To at least, if we dey heavy for road, we go feel know how to assist ourselves.
I think about 12 million persons can't even access toilets, public toilets, and I think it's very wrong. Our government should endeavor to do the right thing by providing public toilets for individuals. I understand some are actually available, but are not enough. Because you find that people are actually abusing the FCT. I think government should do more to actually enlighten the public and ensure that we do the right thing by maintaining sanitary hygiene.
In places like this, we can make provision. I mean, in complexes like this, where people come to do business daily, there should be toilets where people can ease themselves daily. And the people who own the complex should make sure when people come, they give them access, because it's a natural thing. When they approach, somehow they want to discharge, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, it's very, very relevant because if we have it all the strategic places, that will sort of save us from all these infections here and about. It's very, very important. So I believe government can do something about it by providing it in strategic places where it will be easy for people to access, and the money not very expensive to pay. To be very, very okay. And maintenance, but maintenance will be the problem of this country.
Toilets are important because access to a safe functioning toilet has a positive impact on public health, human dignity, and personal safety. Aisha Salihu, TrustTV News, Abuja.
Well, there you have it. A cross-section of Nigerians, talking to us about the World Toilet Day and the need for toilets, and the need for us to also end open defecation. I mean, how do we end open defecation if people do not, have toilets and all of that? And that's why we have an expert in the studio, Dr. Andy Ukah. He is the Deputy Director, Environmental Officers Registration Council, to talk to us about this. Good morning, and it's good to have you join us.
I'm
All right.
director of Deputy Registrar.
Okay, Deputy Registrar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I beg your pardon. Now, let's talk about this day. Today is World Toilet Day, and we know the role that toilets play in our individual lives. They're very, very crucial in making sure that we have a sane environment, a decent, environment where people can live, healthy and all of that. But it's, I would say, sad that sometimes you find people living without even in houses without toilets and all of that. Why do you think that that is happening here?
Okay, actually, there are many reasons why somebody can build a house without toilet, or build a house without adequate toilet, or toilet that are functioning. One, lack of enforcement. You could recall that during the colonial masters' day and of recent, when somebody submits a building plan to the development control, the first point of call is the officer or the office or the desk of an environmental health officer, who will look at the plan to look at the sanitary facilities of that building. How many toilets are they adequate for the number of people that are going to live in that place? What about the dimension, the position? For example, the toilet supposed not to share a partition or ward with a kitchen, especially in all these things are the function of environmental health officer in the development control. But today, that function has been removed from an environmental health officer because they feel that other people can do the work. If you get to the form, that form that's supposed to be signed by environmental health officer is no more there. They will just keep it and carry on. So for that reason, nobody look into the provision of the toilet of a building or the adequacy of that toilet, number of toilets, because we have a number of toilets to be provided to a building depending on the number of people that will live. For example, if you have a place you have 1 to 5 people, like women mix up, you have to provide at least a toilet. Once it's increased to from 6 to 15, you have to provide 2 toilets in the case of women. And in each 15 people added, you have to add 1 toilet. Before, in a place, people live up to 500 or working place, you need up to 8 toilets. Why? Because women can use toilet for both urination and toilet. But for men, it's not like that. If it's men, we provide urinals, we provide toilet. Their own is less. Maybe in every 30 added, you add 1 toilet. So all these parameters you look in a building are no more there because an environmental health officer has been denied of his work.
All right, now
again, sorry sir, some may have toilets, they are not adequate with the number of people living there. Others will be forced to go for open defecation. Sometimes you have toilets in all these public buildings, but locked up, no water to clean it up. And an average person going there find it, that's a cat, and of almost impossible to use it. We think of going to the bush. Those are the reasons.
Okay.
That.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, from the report we just watched, Nigerians are asking the government to provide mobile toilets. Do you think this is going to solve the problem of open defecation?
No, I don't believe that. As a professional, mobile toilets are used occasionally. For example, during the Koja in Nigeria, the number of toilets in the stadium will not be adequate because of the influx of people. Then you can employ the service of mobile toilet. It is for palliative. It's not to control this. But and one, again, it is quite expensive. And mobile toilet is not the end of toilet control or physics control, because you need other processes, either to evacuate it to a better place or storing and maintenance. So it may not be the answer to open defecation. And I want to tell you that in this point, I want to tell you that open defecation is not only when somebody goes out and squats. There are about 3 dimensions, 3 categories of open defecation. One, people that don't have toilet or enough toilet can go to the bushes around open places and squat. That is primary part of it. What about when you go to the town, especially in Abuja, you have what we call bleeding manhole that's supposed to carry the sewage to a treatment point. And those things are on the street. Maybe your safety tank is not adequately protected and it is spreading sewage in the environment. That's another part of open defecation. But that's secondary part of it, because that is more dangerous than squatting. Then what about the people when they pick sewage from the places, they dump it in a river raw? What about the people that channel, industry that channel sewage into a river where other people are using? Is that not open defecation? That is the most dangerous one, because many people will be affected at the same time. That is the tertiary part of it, and it's more dangerous, because people now can even use the water for drinking, or in fact, I have seen cases where raw sewage, what we mean by raw sewage, as you pick it, no treatment, they use it to produce crops, like garden egg, is what we call ready-to-eat fruit. So vegetables, all this and that. That's another open defecation that is dangerous.
All right, now talk to us about the implication of this, health-wise. I don't know if you could just touch on it, the implication of
open defecation. Okay, yes. One, open defecation. That's why I love the theme of today's toilet day. Is valuing toilet. Then the question is, why should we value toilet? By the time you value toilet and provide toilet, you will reduce the contact, human contact, to physics, which is the most dangerous one. You evacuate it in the right way through toilet. 2, you avoid the contamination of environmental media. What we mean by environmental media are 1, water, air, including food you eat, and the soil you match, the environment. So you will reduce the contamination of those media by the physics. 3, you will reduce the impact of disease, the spread of disease. Like today we are suffering from cholera, we are suffering from typhoid, we are suffering from all these things. They are as a result of open defecation. You can also reduce some disorders like malnutrition, stunting, and other things. You can also reduce the economic impact, because when you are suffering from disease, the next thing is to go to hospital, and doctor will handle the cause of all these things. Now, there is dignity in providing toilet. It provides privacy. It provides human dignity. It solves social and psychological problems once you have toilet. Therefore, we must value it.
Okay.
Yes.
So what negative effect does open defecation have on climate change?
Okay. Actually, I may say that it has, but not directly, because it depends on the quantity of physics on this. One, because we are told that, like you rightly say, 600 million, of which I think by now Nigeria is the highest in the world, because as at last year or 2 years ago, Nigeria was the second after India. But with proper calculation, considering the population of India to Nigeria, Nigeria is the highest open defecation. It can lead to climate change because of the chemicals contained in the feces, because we have a lot of chemicals, because we are told that a gram of feces contain millions and billions of bacteria, viruses, all these things. They can lead to a kind of yielding all these chemicals into the environment. And some of them are like sulfur, other things, and it can, because when you are defecating open, you will also urinate open. So the chemicals contained there can affect the ozone layer, as we are told, and there will be climate change. What is climate change? Because we are experiencing improper heat and other things changing and this and that. Water, because the amount of sewage you deposit into water can make that water to dry up. And imagine a world where there is no river. Imagine a world where there is no all these things. You know what will happen.
All right.
So
now tell us what your organization or your agency is doing, to make sure that, this awareness is being created and, some of the laws that we have around these things are implemented. What is your agency doing?
Okay. My agency is a regulatory body. And we are in so many businesses to make sure that we train people and we regulate proper people to practice environmental health. So you find our people in the local government and the state. Those are the government levels that take care of sanitation in Nigeria. We make sure that the proper people, qualified people, are released into that. And again, we provide training for people, communities, and we also collaborate with other organizations, making sure that they listen. We also provide policies, regulations, guidelines to help our people in the field to actually practice. Every year we carry out a number of training to create awareness for this.
We are still discussing the World Toilet Day, ending open defecation, and we have Dr. Andy Ukah, Deputy Director, Environmental Officers Registration Council of Nigeria, giving us, some perspectives around that area. Now, do we have regulatory bodies, that are responsible for ordering or enforcing sanctions of people who practice open defecation?
Yes, we have, and most of the time it is based on local government areas and the state, because they are the custodian of sanitation. Actually, like in Abuja here, we have some agencies like Abuja Environmental Protection Board. They have environmental health officers. We have area councils who are supposed to have enough environmental health officers who will go about implementing all those through their daily inspection, implementing or enforcing the nuisances of lack of toilet. But the question is, are they doing the work? And are government of those levels empowering them to do the work? We believe with me that in Nigeria we believe much on curative than preventive. And our work is based on preventive, taking care of the healthy people, going to them, trying to persuade them, trying to educate them. They need to have ABC in order to remain healthy. But sometimes they neglect their work and they prefer, when they are down, they run to a medical doctor, they run to a hospital, they give them injection, they treat them, they come back, they continue in the same process. We have those places, but again, we don't have a good enabling law the law we are using in Nigeria is the law of 1950s. The local government and the state supposed to have enabling law that pronounce a good sanction, that's in monetary form or in prison form. But sometimes all those laws are upset, kind of old. And imagine where somebody will default in all these grave environmental defaults. You are charging, the law will spell out 1 shilling. So we have been, as a regulatory body in those days, that's 50s. Now we have been in the National Assembly for them to pass the bill on that's environmental health law, public health law. So once that is passed, I think we will have, because you must, because some of the times you go to court, you don't have the enabling law to back it. So we want that law to be passed so that the people in the field can have what it takes to have teeth and a biting teeth that can bite. So we are asking that. And again, the area councils and the states levels of government are supposed to implement all these things. They are not serious about prevention of this thing, because the work of an environmental health officer in abating nuisance follow a process. We call it enforcement. But what is happening in those levels now are what we call forcing people. Then they establish what we call task force. And those task forces are not taking the work, because most of them are not trained to do that. What they do is that, you did not this, and you have to pay 200,000 and this and that. That's not the issue, because the nuisance will remain there. But as an environmental health officer, you get a premises and there is no toilet, you serve abatement notice. And when you serve abatement notice, you check it up and serve again. The next thing is to take them to court. It's not that environmental health officer to enforce if they resist such abatement notice. You take them to court. From there, you have handed them over to court. But these days, even our court don't know the meaning of environmental nuisances or the implication. They will allow them to marshal out lawyers, and they keep on kind of arguing. In environmental issues, you don't argue like that. Assuming now that there is a kind of chemical, somebody maybe has a chemical that is fast killing the people, and you take that person to court, will you need to delay it? No, there is supposed to be a judgment. We have the power to seal houses. But today, I want to point out that some of the things that are affecting the enforcement, the proper enforcement, are what I can refer to as political interference.
Okay, now you talk about laws that we use as a cake, at the moment. Maybe give us a sense of, the kind of sanctions that we have for defaulters at the moment, as far as open defecation is concerned.
Actually, the laws we have now are the laws derived from local government and states. Maybe they have improved their own to say, maybe if you are caught defecating outside, maybe you have to pay, I'm just saying, for example, 5,000, then, or you go to prison, or both, something like that. So actually, we need to look at the sanctions based on each local government or based on each state. They're supposed to have their own law from which they will implement the sanctions on the defaulters. Okay. Yes, but it is the sanction on person defecating outside is not away from any other sanction from environmental.
Okay, so what are the kind of reforms that you are expecting in this bill that you are pushing for? Reforming the environmental laws that we have at the moment. What are the kind of reforms that you are advocating?
One of the reforms is that it should be, the environmental health officers should be allowed to perform their duties. and also to have impact in the approval of building plans. Again, the penalties or the monetary aspect of those sanctions should be increased to meet up the modern time. Also, there must be establishment of facilities, because you don't penalize people when there is no provision of this. For example, when you go to in the town now, you see people, they are waiting for one job or the other. Some people are hawking. When they are praised, where do they go? We are talking about establishment of sanitation facilities, sanitary facilities,
World Toilet Day,
like public toilets at strategic points. When you are traveling, maybe you are traveling from here to Lagos, in every 2 hours, the cars are supposed to stop over. And when it stop over, do you have the facilities? In Abuja here, when you are going out, you don't need, you should have access to all these filling stations with enough toilet. Whether you want to buy fuel or not, you supposed to go there easier, safe, and go away. All these shops, all these ShopRites, whether you are buying something or not, the law permit that you can go there easier, safe, and continue your journey. So those are the things we want to bring out, that all those things will be in place, and the environmental health officers will be empowered to do their work. So these are the reforms we are talking about.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts with us on the program today. Hopefully you will join us again another time.
Thank you.
All right. We've been speaking with Dr. Andy Ukah. He is the did you say registrar, deputy registrar? All right. He is okay. So he is the deputy registrar, Environmental Officers Registration Council of Nigeria, talking about the World Toilet Day. Thank you again.
You're welcome.